Hey, it's Tim here from Tim O Paints. Today we're gonna pressure wash this house. So I'm gonna show you guys the tools that I like to use and the way that I like to go about getting a house ready for paint. So stick around and don't go anywhere. This is just a house and all we're really doing is rinsing off the house. We're not really getting into stripping or anything. You know, the trim and the fascia and everything does need a little bit of dressing. But we're gonna roll along with the small pump here today. It's a new one, so we got some oil in and ready to go. 2800, we got a couple tips. If we use the 0 tip, it gets us up to 2800, but I think that's pretty excessive. If anything, if we do end up using the 2800 PSI, we're gonna be hitting the top peak and try to do that from the 4-foot ladder. That way we can avoid getting on the roof. All right, so let's get into it. I'm gonna show you guys how I like to pressure wash a house before I paint. And you know, it's gonna be pretty warm today, but I don't think that we're gonna be able to prepare it. But this will be a 3 or 4 part series on how to paint a house, beginning to end. You know, pressure wash, prepare, and paint, and then, you know, the whole process. So it'll be about 3 or 4 part video. And as always, you know, I'll have a paint job recap, a time lapse walkthrough about how the job went and everything. So, all right, I hope you guys enjoy this one. Let's do this. So one thing I wanted to mention before we get started and get too far into the washing process is when you do have to move stuff, if there's a lot of stuff and they have like a lot of patio furniture, now what I like to do is I'll get out my phone and take a small picture. That way when I do have to put everything back together, I have a picture to refer to. You know, a lot of people spend a lot of time getting their patio set up the way they like it, and if you could help them out by making sure it goes back to exactly the way you found it, then hey, you know, that's another one up in the book. You know, every little point counts. Now I'm not using any kind of special tips or attachments or extensions or anything. This is the cheapest gas powered pressure washer from Lowe's. I think this ran about $249 or so, and I'm not using anything special. It's right out of the box, ready to go. I'll probably start off with the 40 tip, and this is the white. This white tip's a 40-degree tip. This is the way to gauge the pressure. Now you'll get about 2000 psi with this tip here, and with the black tip is for soap, and then that doesn't go above 300 psi. Now the yellow one here, it's a 15. You'll be able to put out 1.9 gallons per minute, and you'll have a little higher pressure. So as the psi goes up, the gallons goes lower, if that makes any sense. Okay, so we're gonna get started. These will probably be my 2 primary tips that I use, is the white one and the yellow one, and that's 2500 psi and 2000 psi. The white one puts out 2.1 gallons per minute, and the yellow does 1.9 per minute. So today we're not going to be using soap or any kind of detergent or surfactant for this material because the house is fairly clean. We just need to rinse it off. We live in a highly agricultural area. It's very windy lately, even though it's been hot. So there is a lot of dust buildup, especially on the stucco, and this is some chunky stuff, so we will be back rolling. Real quick time saver, before you put a tip on or even before you fire up the pump, something that I like to do to make sure that there's no air bubbles or no kind of debris inside of the line is I just run it out with no tip. So I just like to run it through, cycle the water through, and that lets all the air bubbles and junk out. Something I want to address before we get too far is that whenever you're doing around the windows and the doors and like light fixtures and stuff, those are the type of things you really want to give yourself some distance, because if you get too close to that, you can cause some damage, and we don't want that. Yeah, just want to let you guys know that. All right. Real quick pro tip before you guys leave, if you are running the pressure washer, make sure to keep the trigger pulled, because if you let it run without water running over it, it can heat it up and do some damage. So thanks a lot for sticking around. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the thumbs up, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.